Hello guys, how are you all? So welcome to my channel Cracking IELTS 9.0. So today I am back with a new passage. As you can see, the passage says the unselfish gene. So this is Cambridge 19 test 4 and reading passage 3. So I'll be discussing a lot of tips and strategies for different types of questions, guys. So if you see carefully on your right hand side, you have the questions. So the first set of questions is multiple choice. And the second set is fill in the blanks with one word. And the third set is yes, no, not given. Okay, so we have three types of questions here, three different types of questions. So I'll be giving away a lot of strategies for you. So please watch the whole video carefully. Okay, there are different strategies for different types of questions. And I hope you guys will benefit something out of this video so that it will be easy for you to crack the IELTS test. Okay. So yeah, without wasting any time, let's dive into the passage. Okay. Now, what is the strategy for this multiple choice? Okay. So we have three strategies. Okay. One is elimination method. Okay. So we'll try to eliminate some options from the given options so that we can arrive to the right option. That is one method. Otherwise, we can also go to the answer directly. Whichever option is matching closely, we'll choose that one. Okay, so let me do this. What is the writer doing in the first paragraph? Okay, now here he's talking about first paragraph. So we'll just read the first paragraph and come back. Okay, and one more strategy is, guys, don't read the options before. Okay, just read the question, go to the paragraph, read the whole paragraph, and then you come to the options. Okay. If you read the options beforehand, then you will get confused when you are reading the paragraph. Okay, so don't do that. First, so my strategy is read the question, go to the paragraph, and then come to the options. Then you will find the answer very easily. Okay, now let us read this. So, Unselfish Gene, a psychologist, gives his view on how humans became self centered. Okay, right. So, this is about psychology, maybe. Okay, now. There has long been a general assumption that human beings are essentially selfish. Okay, we are apparently ruthless with strong impulses to compete against each other for resources and to accumulate power and possessions. Okay, so if we are kind to one another, it's usually because we have ulterior motives. Okay, if we are good, it's only because we have managed to control and transcend our innate selfishness and brutality. Okay, right. So here he is talking about selfishness. Okay, he's also talking if you are kind, then only you have some other motives. If you are good, only because you are able to control your innate selfishness. That's what he spoke. Okay, let us read the options now. Setting out to opposing views about human nature. Okay, he's talking about two opposing views about human nature. Okay, let us keep this in mind. Okay, then B, justifying his opinion about our tendency to be greedy. Okay, he's talking about tendency to be greedy. Okay, then describing a commonly held belief about people's behavior. Okay, commonly held belief. This is a good keyword for us. Okay, then explaining why he thinks of humans act in a selfish manner. Okay, okay, right. So, A, setting out two opposite views about human nature. See, what does he say here in the first line? There has long been a general assumption that human beings are essentially selfish. See, he's talking about some general assumption. Okay, this is a keyword. And where is that general assumption? Describe commonly held belief. Okay, general assumption, commonly held belief. Is it matching? Yes. That humans are essentially selfish. Okay, he's talking about the people's behavior. Here he's talking about being selfish only. Okay, we are ruthless and we want to accumulate more power and possessions. Okay, if you are kind, it means that only because you have some other motives. If you are good, only because you can control your selfishness. That's it. Okay, so I think C is extremely matching. C is very close. Okay, A, B, C. A, setting out two opposing views. See, he's not talking about opposing views. He's talking about one view only, that is selfishness. Okay. And he says, if we are kind, this is the reason. If you are good, this is the reason. That's it. Okay. He's not setting out two opposing views here. There's only one view. Okay. Then justifying his opinion about our tendency to be greedy. No, he is not talking about greediness only. He is talking about other things, kindness and goodness also. So explaining why he thinks that humans act in a selfish manner. No, not only in selfish manner, he's supporting other views as well. Okay. So 27 C is extremely close to what we are looking for. Okay. Yes. Then next one. What point is made about Richard Dawkins' book, The Selfish Gene? Okay. He's talking about this guy, Richard Dawkins. Where is this guy? He is in the next paragraph. So obviously we are going to look for this one. Okay. Right. So let us read this paragraph. This bleak view of human nature is closely associated with the science writer. Bleak view means a very like bad view, okay, not a clear view, okay. So Richard Dawkins, whose 1976 book, The Selfish Gene, became popular because it fitted so well with and helped to justify the competitive and individualistic ethos that was so prevalent in the late 20th century societies. Okay, so this book, he says, this book, okay, it has fitted so well and it justifies the competitive and individualistic ethos that was so prevalent in the 20th century societies. Okay. Right. Like many others, Dawkins justifies his views with reference to the field of evolutionary psychology. Okay. So, evolutionary psychology theorizes that present day human traits developed in prehistoric times during what is termed the environment of evolutionary adaptedness. Okay. Right. Now, okay. So, what is the point that he made about the book? Okay, so its appeal lay in the radical nature of its ideas. He says radical nature and appeal. Did he talk about this radical thinking anywhere in the paragraph? I don't think so. Then its success was due to the scientific support it offered. Success, see, success means he says it is fitted so well. But did he talk about any scientific support it offered here? No, right? So B cannot be the answer. Okay. Next, it presented a view that was in line with the attitudes of its time. Okay, okay, right. So I think C is very close, guys. Because what do you think? See, it presented a view that was in line with the attitudes. See, it became popular because it fitted so well, okay, the and helped to justify it helped to justify the competitive and individualistic ethos that was so prevalent in the 20th centuries. See, attitudes of its time means the 20th century societies, right? Then attitudes means this competitive and individualistic ethos, that is the attitude of the time. And it has, see, it fitted so well, fitted is the keyword here, means it presented a view that was in line. This view was in line, means this view fitted the attitudes of the time. Yes, this C is exactly matching with what is given. Actually, C is the paragraph of this sentence. So, this the first sentence is paragraphed into this C option. That's it. They have changed some words. Okay, they have changed the voice here. That's it. And D, it took an innovative approach to the analysis of human psychology. No, we didn't read anything like that in the paragraph, right? So yeah, C is the right answer. Next, what does the writer suggest about the prehistoric era in the fourth paragraph? So he's talking about fourth paragraph, okay? So yeah, we don't have to waste our time reading the third one, right? We'll go to the fourth paragraph directly here and then we'll start reading, okay? Now, it's important to remember that in the prehistoric era, the world was very sparsely populated. Okay, sparsely means very less population. Okay, and according to some estimates, around 15,000 years ago, the population of Europe was only 29,000, and the population of the whole world was less than half a million. Okay, not even half, less than half. Okay, right. So humans at that time were hunter-gatherers, means people who lived by hunting wild animals and collecting wild plants. Okay, good. With such small population densities, it seems unlikely that prehistoric hunter-gatherer groups had to compete against each other for resources or had any need to develop ruthlessness and competitiveness or go to war. Okay. Okay, so he says that the population, okay, was very less in the prehistoric era, and that's why people they don't have to like compete against each other. Okay, population densities, it seems unlikely that they had to compete against each other, or they have to go to war, or they have to develop this ruthlessness and this kind of tendency. Okay, let us read what is given in the options now. Okay, societies were more complex than many people believe. Okay, are societies more complex, guys? Is it complex, or societies were more simple? What do you think? See, here it says world was sparsely populated, very less population. So people with small densities, it seems unlikely that they had competed against each other. So A is opposing what is given in the paragraph, right? It says more complex societies. No, societies were very simple, small societies. They were not complex. So directly A is not the answer. Okay, correct. Then let's go to B. Supplies of natural resources were probably relatively plentiful. Okay, he's talking about resources. They have to be plentiful, he says. Okay. Uh, Resources, where did he talk about those resources? It is here, right? So, with such small population densities, it seems unlikely that prehistoric hunter-gatherer groups had to compete against each other for resources. Okay, resources. So, the population was very less. So, why would they compete against each other for resources? Resources are plenty, right? All over the world, if you see, resources, see, supplies of natural resources were probably relatively plentiful. Yes, probably and relatively. So he is giving an estimation, maybe like that. Okay. So it is not confirmed here. So that's what he said. It seems unlikely that these groups had to compete against each other for resources. Why would they compete? Population is very less and the resources are very high. So there is no need to compete, right? Or had any need to develop the ruthlessness or go to war. That's what he said. Yes, yes. Supplies of natural resources, maybe, yes, maybe. B can be the answer, guys. Okay, I'm just keeping B on hold. B is also very close, but let us read the other options also. Okay. Most estimates about population sizes are likely to be inaccurate. Okay, most estimates about population sizes, where he talk about the population size here. Europe was 29,000 and rest of the world was half a million. See, if they gave in the paragraph, then that should be a fact or right? But here he says estimates about the size are likely to be inaccurate. Anywhere in the paragraph, did he say that the estimates are inaccurate? No, right? So this cannot be the answer easily, right? Next, humans moved across continents more than was previously thought. So here did he talk about moving across continents? That the prehistoric people moved across continents? Nowhere, right? Nowhere it is mentioned that people were moving across continents. So obviously D also cannot be the answer. So the only answer that is close enough is B. So B is my answer, guys. Okay. Right. Now let us move to the next question. The writer refers to Bruce Nott's work as support for the idea that, okay, he's talking about Bruce Nott's work as a support for some idea. So what idea is that? Okay, this guy Bruce Nott, I think he is in the next paragraph only, right? Here. You can see Bruce Nott, right? So let us read this paragraph now. Okay. Right. There is significant evidence to back this notion from contemporary hunter-gatherer groups who live in the same way as prehistoric humans did. Okay, so yeah, as the anthropologist Bruce Nott has remarked, means said, hunter-gatherers are characterized by extreme political and sexual egalitarianism. Okay, This word, you should know the meaning of this. Egalitarianism means equality. Okay. So equality for both the genders. Okay. For everybody, there should be some equality. That's what they believed in. Okay. Knauft has observed that individuals in such groups, they don't accumulate property or possessions and have an ethical obligation to share everything. Okay. They also have methods of preserving egalitarianism by ensuring that disparities of status don't arise. Okay. Okay. So, yeah. Next, let's go to the options now. Selfishness is a relatively recent development in human societies. Okay. He's talking about selfishness and that it's a recent development. Okay. He's talking about selfishness and it's a recent development. Let us come back to that option. Okay. Let us keep A on hold. Okay. Go to B. Only people in isolated communities can live in an unselfish manner. He is talking about unselfish manner. Okay. And only people in isolated communities can live. He said, did he talk about any isolated communities, guys? Any other isolation means completely cut off from the world. No, it is. He did not talk about any isolated communities here. So, yeah, B cannot be our answer. Okay. And very few lifestyles have survived unchanged since prehistoric times. Okay. Did he talk about any lifestyle having survived unchanged? Did he talk about any lifestyle which is unchanged in the prehistoric times? No, nothing was mentioned in the paragraph about this, right? So, yes, this cannot be the answer. Then hunter-gatherer cultures worldwide are declining in number. He's talking about numbers now. Okay. Hunter-gatherer cultures worldwide, they are declining, he says. So in this paragraph, did we read anything that the groups are becoming declined? No, right? So yes, D also cannot be the answer. See, we have eliminated B, C, D, and obviously A is left, right? But that is not my reasoning, okay? I'll tell you the reason why A should be the answer. Because, see, here he says, Knauft has observed that individuals in such groups, which group he is talking about? Groups means hunter-gatherer groups, okay? Hunter-gatherer, contemporary means modern. Modern hunter-gatherer groups, they don't accumulate property or possessions, right? Means they are not accumulating wealth, properties, all these things, and have ethical obligation to share everything. So whatever they had, they used to share, right? That is the idea. Then they also have methods of preserving egalitarianism, means equality, by ensuring that disparities of status don't arise. So they don't want this status symbols, these things. Okay, somebody high, somebody low. No. So what did they do? They had some methods of preserving the equality. So all these things tell that what does it say? People were not selfish. Okay, right? Means these hunter-gatherer groups, they are not selfish bear because they are not accumulating wealth, they are not accumulating possessions, and they share everything. Okay, they don't have these status disparities. So all these things they tell that they are not selfish. So what should be selfishness then? Selfishness is a little recent development in human societies. Yes, selfishness should be a recent development because back here they didn't had any selfishness. That is what the writer Bruce Nott's work as a support for the idea that selfishness is really a recent development because these groups they didn't have any selfishness. That's what he says. That is the work of Bruce Nott. Got it? I hope you guys are following me carefully. Okay. So they are characterized by extreme political and sexual egalitarianism. Means political equality, sexual equality should be there. That's what they believed in. So by reading this paragraph, I understood that these people, these groups, they don't have any selfishness. Okay. Selfishness should be a relative development, a recent development in the human society. Yes, that's what his work says. Yes. So yeah, 30A should be the right answer. Okay, all right, let's move to the next set of question, guys. That is fill in the blanks. Okay, now one word only. We have to write only one word. So, what is the heading of the paragraph? Contemporary hunter-gatherer societies. Yes, we read about this thing, right? Contemporary hunter-gatherer groups. Yes, of course. Now he's talking about Bruce Knott. So I think he's talking about this exact paragraph that we read just now. Okay. So Bruce Knott's research shows that contemporary hunter-gatherer societies tend to exhibit a high level of dash in all areas of life. Okay. They exhibit a high level of something. What is that? In all areas of life. Let us read the paragraph again. Okay. So there is a significant evidence to back this notion from contemporary hunter-gatherer groups who live in the same way as prehistoric humans did. As the anthropologist Bruce Knott has remarked, hunter-gatherers are characterized by extreme political and sexual egalitarianism. Okay. Okay, till here. This first sentence is completely paraphrased into this first sentence. Okay, what do you say? Now, research shows that contemporary hunter-gatherer societies tend to exhibit a high level of dash in all areas of life. High level is the keyword, guys. Did you get the answer? I'll give you a hint. High level. Extreme. What does it mean? Extreme. High level. So, what is the answer? As the anthropologist has remarked, hunter-gatherers are characterized by extreme political and sexual egalitarianism. So they exhibit a high level of egalitarianism in all areas of life. All areas means is political and sexual, everything. Okay. So yes, egalitarianism should be the right answer. Okay. So I'll just write it here for you guys. So egalitarianism. Okay. Right. So just check the spelling. Once you write it, whatever the spelling that is given in the paragraph, you should be having exactly that. Okay. So egalitarianism is the answer. Okay. Next. In these cultures, distributing resources fairly among all members is a moral obligation, means sharing everything. Okay. These societies also employ strategies to prevent differences in dash occurring. For example, he gives, okay, till here we should observe, okay. See, here till this sentence is about sharing everything. Okay. Now, they also have methods of preserving egalitarianism by ensuring that disparities of status don't arise. See, look at the keywords, guy. Preserving. Preserve means preventing differences. Okay. Differences means what is the keyword for differences here? Synonym. Differences mean disparities. Okay. These two are the keywords. Okay. Methods of preserving. Methods means strategies. Strategies to prevent differences in what? Disparities of status. Yes, that is the right answer. I hope you have guessed it right. Okay. So they wanted to avoid this status symbol, right? So ensuring that disparities of status don't arise. So differences in status occurring. Yes, that is the right answer. Okay. That was an easy one, guys. Okay. Now, for example, means here. Example is in the next paragraph. See, he says, for example. So we have to read this paragraph and then come to the rest of the questions. Okay. Now, the Kung people of Southern Africa, for example, swap arrows before hunting. And when an animal is killed, the acclaim does not go to the person who fired the arrow, but to the person the arrow belongs to. Okay. And if a person becomes too domineering means dominating, okay? The other members of the group ostracize them, okay, exiling the offender from the society. Now, what do you mean by ostracize? Ostracizing means not talking to some to an individual in a group, okay? Not talking to him, not paying attention, avoiding a particular person in the group. That is called ostracizing them. Exiling means completely exiling him off from the group, the offender from the society itself, okay? Throwing that individual away of the society, okay? Then, typically in such groups, men do not dictate what women do. Women in hunter-gatherer groups worldwide often benefit from a high level of autonomy. Okay, means autonomous means they have the right, they have the power to choose their own right. Okay, being able to select their own marriage partners, decide what work they do, and work whenever they choose to. Okay, and if marriage breaks down, they have custody rights over their children. Okay, okay, a lot of things are there in this Kung. group, right? Then, all right, let's read the questions. For example, the Kung follow a custom whereby the credit for one person's success at a dash is given to another member of the group. Okay, what is he talking about here, guys? He's talking about the first sentence that we read. What is it? So the Kung people swap arrows before going what? Before going hunting. And when the animal is killed, the acclaim does not go to the person who fired the arrow, but to the person the arrow belongs to. Yes, this sentence is paraphrased. Now, what is the answer, guys? Come on, you have to guess it. The Kung follow a custom whereby the credit for one person's success at what is given to another person at hunting. Yes, that is the right answer. This is very easy, guys. Very, and it's a straightforward answers. Hunting. Yes, okay, hunting is given to another person, right? Now, individuals who behave in a dash manner are punished by being excluded from the group. Excluded means here we read what? Exiling, excluding from the society. In what? Individuals who behave in a dash manner. What type of manner? If a person becomes too domineering, the other members of the group ostracize them, exiling from the society. Domineering means dominating. Yes, that is the right answer. So, individuals who behave in a domineering manner. Yes, domineering manner. Yeah, that is the right answer. Domineering manner are punished. Yes. Okay, and women have a considerable amount of dash in their choices regarding work and marriage. Okay, now women they have what considerable amount of. So women in these groups worldwide often benefit from a high level of autonomy. He's talking about high level. Look at this synonym, guys. High level of autonomy, high level, considerable amount. Did you match these two synonyms? Then only you will get the answer. Being able to select their own marriage partners, so regarding marriage, and what work they do whenever they choose to end work. You got it? So, what is the answer, guys? High level of autonomy. Yes, considerable amount of autonomy. Yes, that is the right answer. Yes. So, autonomy is my answer, guys. Yeah. So, yeah, I think we have answered this section. Let us move to the next section. That is yes, no, not given. Okay. Right. So here you have to write yes if the statement agrees with the views of the writer. Okay. The given statement is agreeing with the view, then it is yes. And no if it is contradicting the views of the writer, and not given if it is impossible to say what the writer thinks about this. Okay, that is pretty much here. Let us keep reading the next paragraph and then we'll come to the questions. Okay. So many anthropologists believe that societies such as Kung were normal until a few thousand years ago, when population growth led to the development of agriculture and a settled lifestyle. Okay. In view of the above, there seems little reason to assume that traits such as racism, warfare, and male domination should have been selected by evolution, as they would have been of little benefit in the prehistoric era. Okay. Now, individuals who behaved selfishly and ruthlessly would be less likely to survive since they would have been ostracized from their groups. Okay. Means ostracized means it means expiling, exiling them. Okay. Right. So yeah, what is that? Now, some anthropologists are mistaken about the point when the number of societies such as, okay, let me just take this one. Okay. Let me just take a small eraser. Okay, let me just move this one. Okay, and then I'll come back to draw. Okay, now since they would have, now what is the question, guys? Some anthropologists are mistaken about the point when the number of societies such as Kung began to decline. He's talking about declining of the Kung dynasty, right? He is talking about anthropologists. I think we read in the first sentence here, right? So many anthropologists believe that societies such as Kung were normal until a few thousand years ago, when population growth led to the development of agriculture and settled lifestyle. Okay. Now, what is he talking? Some anthropologists are mistaken about the point when the number of societies such as Kung began to decline. Okay. Now, in the paragraph, did he talk about, okay, number of societies such as Kung began to decline? Nowhere he mentioned, right? See, he talking about in the paragraph, the writer is talking only about Kung dynasty. But here he says number of societies such as Kung. Did he mention any other societies like Kung? No. So it is impossible to say what the writer thinks about this because he says it is mistaken. As some anthropologists are mistaken, he says. We don't know whether they are mistaken about what? About the number of societies like Kung. No, in the passage, he did not talk about any other societies here, right? So, what should be the answer, guys? So, we cannot say that. So, it is not given clearly, right? Okay, next one. Let us move to the next set of question. Humans who developed warlike traits in prehistoric would have had an advantage over those who did not. Okay. Warlike trait means negative characters, selfishness, this kind of things. Okay. See, here he said warfare. Okay, let us read this sentence and I'll explain it to you. Okay. So, in view of the above, there seems little reason to assume that traits such as racism, warfare, and male domination should have been selected by evolution as they would have been of little benefit. Little benefit means no benefit in the prehistoric era. But here he says would have had an advantage. No, sir. It is not an advantage. It is a disadvantage for the individuals. Why? Because individuals who behaved selfishly and ruthlessly would be less likely to survive since they would have been ostracized from their groups. Yes. Ostracized means expelled, throwing them out of the group. Okay. So racism, warfare, these are negative traits, right? Here he says human developed warlike traits in prehistoric would have an advantage. No, sir, that is not an advantage. That is a disadvantage. So this thing is exactly opposite of what is given in the paragraph. Exactly opposite. Here it should be disadvantage, but here he says advantage. So what is our answer, guys? Come on. When it is completely opposing, answer is no. Right, next one. Being peaceful and cooperative in a natural way for people to behave. Okay, being peaceful and cooperative is a natural way for people to behave. That's what he said. Okay, let us read next. It makes more sense then to see traits such as cooperation, egalitarianism, altruism, and peacefulness as innate characteristics of human beings. Innate means inbuilt. Okay. So these were the traits that were prevalent in the human life for tens of thousands of years. So presumably these traits are still strong in us now. Okay. Okay. Innate means inbuilt characteristic. By birth, they have these characteristics. Okay. Now, what does he say? Being peaceful and cooperative is a natural way for people to behave. Natural way means, again, innate way, inbuilt way. Okay, naturally it came to them. So, being peaceful is one word. Okay, peacefulness, we have it here. Next, cooperative. Yes, cooperative, we have it here. Okay, being peaceful and cooperative is a natural way, means innate way for people to behave. Yes, sir. This sentence is exactly matching with what is given. Word to word, it is matching. Yes, so this should be. Now, what is our answer, guys? What should be the answer? Yes, because this one is exactly matching with whatever is given in the paragraph. That's how we have to answer, guys. Okay. Now, next one. Negative traits are more apparent in some modern cultures than in others. Now, here he is comparing. What is it? Comparing what? Comparing the modern cultures with other cultures. So we have to look whether there is any comparison here or not. Okay, that is the strategy. Now let us read the next one about negative traits. Okay, so but if prehistoric life wasn't really as brutal as has often been assumed, why do modern humans behave so selfishly and ruthlessly? Okay, perhaps these negative traits should be seen as a later development. Okay, the result of environmental and psychological factors. Now, research has shown repeatedly that when the natural habitats of primates such as apes and gorillas are disrupted, they tend to become more violent and hierarchical. Okay, now he is talking about these negative traits. See, what did the research say? That whenever the natural habitats means the natural environment, whenever it is disturbed, then these primates they become more violent. Okay, their psychology changes whenever we disturb their natural habitat. Okay. Next, but if prehistoric life wasn't really as brutal as often been assumed, why do modern humans behave so selfishly and ruthlessly? Perhaps these negative traits should be seen as a later development, as a result of environmental and psychological factors. That's what he says here. Now, negative traits are more apparent in some modern cultures than in others. Okay, in the question he's comparing now. What is he comparing? Modern culture with other cultures, right? So, in the paragraph, is there anything comparison, something like that here? Is he comparing modern with the previous cultures? Anything like that? No, right? He is talking about some research here, right? He's talking about why the humans behave so selfishly. No, we haven't read anything like that, right? So, yes. So, what is the answer, guys? Nothing is mentioned in the paragraph here. So, what is the answer? It is not given because we don't know. He's not comparing anything in the paragraph, right? Next, animal research has failed to reveal a link between changes in environment and the emergence of aggressive tendencies. Okay, animal research. What does he mean by animal research? This one, research on the primates, right? So, animal research, he says, has failed to reveal a link. He says, has shown repeatedly that when the natural habitats are disrupted, they become more violent. Research has the research failed or is it successful? Here paragraph says research has shown repeatedly. Research has shown repeatedly means the research is successful here. But here this guy says animal research has failed to reveal a link. So it is exactly opposite in meaning. Whenever you change the environment, okay, they become more violent means changes in environment and the emergence of aggressive tendencies. Yes, sir. So yeah, what is the answer for you guys here? What is the answer? It's exactly opposite in meaning. So answer is no, right? Because in the question he said research has failed. No, sir, research has not failed. Research has been successful, has shown repeated number of times. So yes, that is our answer. Okay. So I think, yeah, we are done with this passage now. We have answered all the questions. Okay, so guys, yeah, if you like my explanation, please like, share, and subscribe my videos. I need more and more subscribers, likes, to make more videos, guys. So please help me out with that. If you like my type of explanation, if you like my strategies, tips, and tricks, please help me out to reach as many viewers as possible. Okay. So yeah, we are done with the Cambridge 19 book. So this was the last passage. And next I'll be back with Cambridge 20, okay, academic, so that it will be useful for the latest strikers of the IELTS. I hope, yeah, everybody is following me closely. And yeah, so that is the end of today's video. Let us meet again in some another video. Till then, goodbye.